How to work one-by-one ribbing and tips with alternating between knit and purl stitches. One-by-one ribbing is something that most knitters will encounter at pretty much some point in their knitting career. And it can be a little challenging because what you want to do is get a nice, neat-looking alternation between your knit and your purl stitches, which is actually very easy to do. However, if you don't know the trick, you can end up with some really sloppy looking work, which is disheartening to anyone who puts in the time and effort for knitting. So there is really 2 points that you need to watch in order to make a neat alternation between a knit and a purl stitch. First thing we'll do is we'll make our knit stitch. Now, to alternate to the purl, we bring our yarn to the front of the work. Now, when we do that, most people will initially just bring it forward and then go right into their purl stitch. But if you take a look, there's a lot of slack right here. And that slack being allowed to stay there is what ends up making your work become very sloppy. So, what I like to do is once I come to the front, I give it a tug. Make sure I keep tight. Then I make my purl stitch, slide it off. Now I need to go back to a knit stitch, and once I slide off, I just bring my yarn to the back. And this is the other point, that if you just let the yarn hang, you're going to get really loose yarn sitting in the middle here. We don't want that. So give it another tug so it's good tension. Make your knit, and now I draw to the front and give a tug. Make my purl, whoops. Draw to the back, make my knit, draw to the front, tug, make my purl, tug. As soon as I bring it back, I give it a tug. That way we're getting rid of the slack. Bring it forward, give it a tug again. And we just keep doing that all the way around. And once you get used to that, it becomes part of your motion. Anytime you are transitioning between a knit to a purl stitch, especially when you're doing ribbing, if you remember to tug when you draw your yarn either back or to the front, you will find that you get a much neater looking end result that you'll be a lot happier with. Hope this tip in the session on working a one-by-one rib and alternating between a knit and a purl stitch was helpful for you. Thank you for joining Yarn Crafts for Lefties. This is Bill. Happy knitting.